Hey guys, it's James here. So I wanted to do a St. Louis style cook today. We're gonna smoke these for 4 to 5 hours, and basically I want to put the rub together here. So let's get going with this. We're gonna need a tablespoon of dry mustard. We're gonna need a tablespoon of kosher salt. 1.5 tablespoons of garlic powder. 3 tablespoons of paprika, and we're going to need a 1/4 cup of dark brown sugar. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to get a fork real quick and we're going to stir this in. So I'm using a shaker, so we're just going to take a regular fork and we're going to kind of stir these ingredients together in our shaker. I usually would shake it, but the brown sugar makes it harder to mix. So you just want to kind of stir it around real well in your shaker. So that's what I'm doing right now. These shakers are very convenient. And there you have it, the rub. So, next we're gonna cover the ribs in oil, like vegetable oil is fine, or canola oil will work. We just need something to help the rub stick to the ribs. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the oil on this now. Now I'm using canola oil for this, so I don't have much left, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this, just hold the bottle and kind of put it on the ribs here, so here we go. So we're just going to take a drizzle of it. Just to get it to pour here. Don't take much, just a little bit goes a long way. So, alright, just flip the rib over, rub the oil on there as well. Just enough to coat the ribs. And do this. You've seen in my other videos I use mustard for helping the rub stick, but since I'm using that dry mustard in the rub, I'm going to go ahead and do an oil on here. Let's get these last two. You can see these guys are the very end of the cut, so that's why they're so small. When you see St. Louis ribs, you think these big, wide ribs, but these are obviously the end of the cut here. Pork loin back ribs, that's what they're called. Not baby backs, pork loin. Alright, now, we're gonna go ahead and put our lid on our rub here. Okay, we're just going to start sprinkling it. Doesn't look like it would be that much rub, but it really is. Just kind of pat it into the ribs. Don't rub it, just pat it in. Alright, flip them over. Baking sheets are great for this, by the way. Keeps all your seasoning contained. A little bit more. You see any bare spots, just kind of hit them up, you know. Like on the edges, and you just want the meat to all be pretty much colored by rub. Alright. I think we're good. So now, I'm gonna get this in a little bit more. Alright. So now, I want to wrap these and let them rest for about an hour in the fridge. And while these are resting, I'm actually going to go fire up the kamado. So by the time the kamado's ready, we can get these on there and get them smoking. So let's head out to the kamado next. Alright guys, so I wanted to share with you something about this grill. This is a cast iron grate, right? I haven't cooked on this thing in 2 months almost, and you can see not a spot of rust on it whatsoever. It's a little grimy, but that's okay. The beauty part is if you do a brisket or a pork shoulder on here, it has so much fat in it, the fat just gets all over the grate, and it actually acts as a protectant for your grate. And you can see my smoking stone gets a bit dingy, you know. It gets kind of gross, but the thing is about these smoking stones is if you want to clean your smoking stone, you can get it back to nice gleaming white and clean like it was when you bought it almost. All you got to do is get your put your stone in, get your kamado up to about 650 degrees and let it burn for about an hour, and it'll burn everything off of your stone. So I'm getting this ready for the next cook here for the ribs. So I've still got some leftover lump in here. I've still got some hickory in here actually from my last smoke. So what I want to do is I'm going to add in a few chunks of hickory. I'm going to move these to the middle like so. So see some old pieces of hickory still in here. So what I want to do is move all the hickory to the middle. And add a few more fresh chunks of hickory. And then we're going to just put the coals on, light it up, and let it get up to 200 degrees. So let's add some more hickory here first. So yeah, just put some fresh hickory chunks in the middle. You don't need too many for a 4-hour smoke, really. That's probably good enough, honestly. I'll put in one more chunk for the hell of it, why not? So now, I'm going to take my little paraffin wax starter cube. Do not use lighter fluid in a kamado, and the reason being is you use lighter fluid in here, or not lighter fluid, but you know, starter fluid, it'll absorb in and then it gets in your food. These paraffin wax cubes, or you can get starter sticks, whatever, use paraffin wax cubes. I've seen guys soak alcohol balls in alcohol and use those as starters. That works as well. So I don't want to put it under the wood, I want to put it on top, like right here. We're going to kind of put some chunks. We're going to light it. So let's see if I can get this lit. And I think it is lit. So we'll let this get heated up. Let me just try one more time here. Kind of hard to tell with the sun beaming on everything. There we go. Now we have fire. So let's put our lump charcoal pieces on top, just like so. Kind of scatter them around. And don't worry about burning your hands. Your skin will grow back, maybe. I'm just kidding. You should be wearing gloves for this. Don't use me as a role model for this part. Just I've got these awesome man law gloves that are like high temp resistant, whatever, you know. I wear them just only when the fire is really roaring, you know. So right now I got the bottom damper wide open, and now we got a fire going. I'm gonna go ahead and put the smoking stone in place. And I am wearing a glove for this. Keeps your hands clean, and you know. So, smoking stone is in place. Now let's put the grate back. No water pan for this. You don't need a water pan for this. This is just a simple short smoke, period. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. Open the damper wide. And once I get closer to my temp, I'll start dialing the damper down to maybe the little gap on top. Let me show you where. This is where you normally would want to have your smoker set to when you're low and slowing on this kamado. Let me just pop you off the tripod, it'd probably be better. So when you're low and slow cooking, you leave it wide open to get your temperature up fairly fast if you're trying to speed up getting your temperature up. But after you get close to your target temp, you want to start kind of dialing it down, and once you're wanting to cook around 200 or so, any temperature really, if you keep it, once you've got your temp set, if you keep it about here, about that much of a gap, you will, hopefully the wind's not messing up my audio here, but you will maintain a temperature within maybe 10 degrees more plus or minus on it, but it'll definitely keep your temperature fairly steady. And also down here, when you're getting closer to temp time, I usually set it to the number one down here when I'm smoking at 200 or so. So anyways, yeah, right now I got it wide open, and I've got this wide open because I'm trying to get up to about 220 degrees so I can steadily smoke the ribs, and you can already see I got a nice little bit of smoke coming out, so that's good. So guys, once we get to the part where I add the ribs, we'll get back to you. Cheers. And here in a little bit we're going to go inside and make the sauce, homemade sauce. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached pretty much our temperature. We're at 223 right now. I don't know if you can see that or not. And we're climbing, so we're going to be around 225 range. So anyways, let's go ahead and get these ribs on. Nice good rolling smoke coming out of there. And take this, set it right in the middle. So there we have it. Ribs are in, and we are go. Just go ahead and close the lid. It'll actually center the ribs in the middle when you close. So ta-da! And we'll come check on these in about an hour, and we'll, you know, start spraying them with apple juice. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now look at that smoke coming off of that. That's what you want to see, a good bit of smoke just coming out of your smoker. It's real critical for the first, you know, 3 to 4 hours, especially when you're smoking briskets and such, that you get a good smoke in that meat, you know, within the first few hours that's on the pit, kamado, or whatever you're cooking with, because the meat's going to be it's going to absorb the most flavor within those first few hours when you're cooking, and then the rest of the time you're just trying to get it slowly up to temp to tenderize it. So yeah, we're going to let this go for a little bit, and then we'll spray it with some apple juice here in about 2 hours or so. Alright guys, so while the ribs are smoking, we're going to go ahead and make our sauce. So let's go ahead and get started here. You're going to need a 1/3 cup of apple cider vinegar. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of mustard. You're going to need 2 cups of ketchup. Go ahead and spatula that out. 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. A 1/3 cup of brown sugar. 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne. 1/4 tablespoon of salt. And 1 tablespoon of onion powder. And 1/2 cup of water. Alright, so now what we want to do is we're going to bring this to a simmer. And kind of stir it all in real good. I'm just going to mix this up real good. And it shouldn't be too watery, shouldn't be too thick, it should be kind of right in the middle. And we're going to let this simmer for 20 minutes and stir it while it simmers. Alright, so we're about an hour and a half into our cook. Let's take a look at these and see how we're doing. Oh, coming along nice. Let's go ahead and give them an apple juice spritz. These are going to be good. These are going to be really good. And if you don't have one of these rib racks, man, go get you one from, like, if you live in Texas, you can go to H-E-B, they're like 10 bucks. They're totally worth it. You can do like 6 racks on them, and I'm doing 4. And they're half racks actually, so just close it up. Time to spritz ribs again. Let's take a look. This thing's been steady around 224, 225 degrees this whole time, so this is perfect. I'm telling you, man, these cookers hold temp well. So we're just going to spritz them down a little bit here. Get them mopped as good as you can. So, while we're on the subject, some of you guys have asked me, you know, what kind of probe am I using? Well, it's one of those smartphone style probes. It's called an iGrill. Basically, it's this little box, and then this particular model has a probe. But you can put the probe on either side, really. There's 2 probe inlets on it. One for, you can do 2 meats or have one for ambient and one for meat temp. And basically, I've got an ambient probe that I bought separate for it. I think it was like $9, I don't remember. It wasn't very expensive. So I have this ambient probe running to it, and usually when I'm doing brisket or anything like that, I usually will put a meat probe in, but for something like these ribs, you know, I can kind of just watch them, monitor them, check them periodically with a regular thermometer. It's not that big a deal. But when you're doing low and slow cooks and you don't feel like sitting there, you don't really want to probe your meats too much with the thermometer, just put a probe in there and let it go. But yeah, it's the iGrill. And they have a newer version of it out called the iGrill 2. I'm gonna shut this thing up because it's driving me nuts. Hang on. Alright, you can use it on your phone. Android or Apple, doesn't matter. It works for either one. Even your tablets, as long as they're an Apple or an Android system, iOS or Android. So anyways, yeah, that's what kind of probe I'm using. And do I recommend getting one? Absolutely. I've had nothing but success with mine. And as long as you stay within 30 feet of your smoker with your tablet or whatever, and just have it set to your alerts and your smoking ranges, you can completely program it up and set it to whatever you want it to be. So anyways, that's what we got going on. So the sauce is done, and I tell you what, the sauce already, I tasted a sample of it. The sauce is it's a very tangy, it's like tangy sweet sauce. And yeah, it's a great sauce. So I'll put all the ingredients and stuff down below for you guys for the rub. Again, I mentioned it in the video, but I'll put the rub ingredients down below, and I'll also put the sauce ingredients down below. Sauce is killer. I might start making my own sauces more often. So anyways, guys. Alright guys, it's been about another hour and a half. Let's check on things. Oh, look at that. Coming along. Go ahead and spring them again. I want to keep them as moist as possible, so yeah. We'll be laying these babies flat here before too long and saucing them up. So that's that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I took the ribs off the rack holder and laid them flat a little bit ago. It's time to sauce them up. So here we go. This is that homemade sauce we made. Slather them up, lather them up, whatever you want to call it. That's a nice red sauce, man. It's going to add a nice tanginess to the ribs. Smoke in my face. It's smoky today. Those some hickory chunks are still catching fire down there. Splattering myself with barbecue sauce here in the process as well. Like I said, I don't normally go for the tangy sauces as much as the sweet, just the plain sweet, but this is more of a sweet and tangy, so they like to slap it on heavy sauce-wise in St. Louis, so that's what we're up to. We want this a thick coat of sauce on these ribs. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let these cook, kind of glaze up some, and we'll flip these ribs and do the other side, and then we will take them off. Some of the sauciest ribs ever. There you go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's take these ribs off. Oh, they look good. Do these not look good, guys? These look fantastic. Man, they definitely look like something, definitely look St. Louis-y. So, let's get these off, get them inside, and do a taste. Man, they look good. Alright, see you inside. Alright, ribs are done, so let's cut these apart here. See if I can. Oh, maybe hitting the bone here. Oh, there we go. Hey, look at that. Nice and done. Yeah. So, I'm going to cut on this thing because I want to just try a little bit on the end here. I don't want to actually, I'm going to try this little meaty piece on the end here. So, ta-da! Oh, get the focus here. Yeah. Yum. Yum. That's really good. That's really good. So, anyways, the sauce is real tangy, like real vinegary, tangy, but sweet also. And the meat, it's got that good hickory in it. Man, it's good smoke in it. So anyways, try this out when you get a chance. So, that's, I know I've been long overdue to do this, so now it's out there. So, cheers. Have a good weekend and the rest of your week.